Welcome to the webinar for the User Productivity Kit, otherwise known as UPK version 12.1. We're going to cover 5 points today, which is a short, brief overview of the User Productivity Kit 12.1. So what is it first? Then we're going to incorporate best business practices as we go throughout the demonstration of the product. We're going to also talk about two very important concepts within the User Productivity Kit, one being working with purchased or what we call canned content that can be purchased from Oracle, and secondly, creating your own custom content. And lastly, we'll just show you some features about publishing your content, how versatile it is, and what you can do with it once your content has been recorded. So I'm going to go ahead and launch the User Productivity Kit, and just to give you a little heads up, what is the tool? It's a content authoring tool, and it allows you to manage your documentation for whatever product you may happen to be using. So this demonstration is going to be based around PeopleSoft applications. So this is the tool itself. In the very first tab, which I do have open currently, this is the Library tab. And the Library tab is composed of all of those necessity items that you need in order to even begin working with the User Productivity Kit. So just to demonstrate what the tool actually is normally as you're going through an implementation, an upgrade, training, whatever it is that you happen to be utilizing the tool for, it's meant to be able to manage all of that documentation, allow you to record it from scratch, so each one of those individual frames that you have. It also enables you to have pre-delivered or canned content, as I mentioned before. So PeopleSoft has various modules, and one of those that I'm going to demonstrate to you right now is the example of the PeopleSoft Human Capital Management 9.2. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the icon that you see here. It looks like a little purple book, and this is also known as a module within PeopleSoft, not only within PeopleSoft, but within the User Productivity Kit. And the way that all of your content can be stored and maintained inside of the tool, the developer tool itself, is through a hierarchical structure. And as you can see, I'm starting to expand out that hierarchical structure, and I'll just pick the last one so we can kind of see from a high-level view of what it is. So they started with the PeopleSoft eBenefits 9.2, which is the purple manual. The lower level, which is the little blue book that you see there, are known as sections. So it can group one-to-many topics within your higher level module. And then last but not least, but the lowest man on the totem pole here is actually the topic. So the topic itself is that individual task that an end user will need to complete in order to fulfill some type of necessity at work. Or some type of self-service duty that they may have to accomplish at their job. So in this one, I'm going to choose a small one. This little guy here happens to be called Maintaining Life Events. And when I do happen to click on it one time, so you can see that it's now selected, over here to the right, and keep in mind this is the development tool, these are the standard steps that they take in order to go about creating this one particular topic. So they felt it was important, and they said, hey, you know, a lot of people come in here and they have to walk through this particular task of maintaining life events. So let's give them an overview of what it is. So the User Productivity Kit gives you the ability to go ahead and take a look and record frame by frame what an end user would have to do in order to be able to see what is maintaining life events. So I'm going to show you a little preview of that. So right now I'm also going to show it to you in one of our preview modes, so which is accessible through the tool itself. So you don't have to publish anything in order to be able to see what your content actually looks like, and of course to test it to make sure that we're viewing everything when it's necessary, for how long it's necessary, and making sure that the right verbiage has been associated with each one of the frames that you're going to see here shortly. So I'm going to click Try It Mode, and Try It Mode allows a person like myself to manually navigate at my own speed through the course of frames that we're going to see. So I'm going to actually click this little green button that says Go to Try It Mode. And it's going to go through a very, very tiny publishing process. And again, this is not going to be published anywhere except for to just immediately myself here. So it allows developers to check out their work as they go. I'm going to click OK just to accept the system default and maximize my screen. And this is the very first screenshot or frame in the topic for maintaining live events. So you can see it's displayed here. And I'm going to hit my Enter key, and it's immediately going to now highlight the screen and start to tell me, well, here is managing life events. This is the instance page, and it says you're going to begin by navigating to the Manage Life Events instance page. So anyone who's familiar with PeopleSoft knows that this is the main menu, and the red rectangle around the item called Benefits says click here first, basically, is what UPK is telling you to do. So I'm going to hit my Enter key to advance me forward to the next frame. And the next one says you're going to click Manage Life Event Instance menu. And once I click that, now my page is being displayed for me, and it gives me a little bit more information about that page. Now keep in mind, this is canned content, so if you were recording a frame-by-frame item from scratch, the only thing it's going to tell you is the actual action that you are about to perform. So the click, and then this little window is going to pop up and say, here's the page. What do you want to tell your audience about this, or what's most important during a training session or getting someone to understand what they're supposed to do here? That's what you need to put in those little yellow bubbles. So in here it tells us that this is the page. It displays your employee life events in progress, and it says you use the page to delete life events that are no longer required. We're going to hit Enter here, and it gives us some more information or explanation about this. So use the filter selection to filter life events based on specific template or effective date, or that were created or administered by a specific employee. And again, Enter to continue. It tells you a little bit more about the checkboxes for active and inactive, and it shows you how you would select a specific event in here, such as the adoption event. So it's going to say you will delete the adoption event instance, so we're going to click in the checkbox. It then places a check in the checkbox, and then it says when you're ready, click the delete button. It'll also display a confirmation and say, yes, I do want to delete this item, and it tells you now that you've successfully completed the task for deleting a life event. When I click Enter at this point, I'm now going to be taken back into the developer tool, and I thought, hey, that's a pretty good recording. I'm going to leave that one as is. Now, again, this is canned content, so it should be pretty good. But from time to time, most clients do make customizations, so they may or may not have to adjust verbiage, menu structures, different things of that nature. So just to show you what this looks like, I'm going to double click on the topic itself, because if I wanted to make a change to it, I need to get literally into that specific topic of maintaining life events. So I'm going to double click. And when I double click on here, this gives me my structure of the topic itself. So notice it also opened another tab here at the very top. And at the bottom, we have several little bubbles. The first of which has an S and is highlighted in fluorescent green because it's indicating the frame I happen to be currently on. And this is a start frame also. If I go to my next frame, it would open up a different screenshot. F stands for frame. A little explanation, because there's in this particular frame, there's actually a hotspot, which we call. So during the playback mode that I was showing you, I kept hitting the Enter key. But truly what they want end users to do is literally follow along with the mouse so they understand and learn the navigation and concepts associated with that task. Just a couple of other examples in here. We have a little X, which is an explanation frame. And again, no actual actions or hotspots are located here. Explanations just give you additional detail about what you're looking at on the screen itself. And you can make your topics as long or as short as you like them. Just remember your audience does have a time span as far as patience level as well, so be very careful. I did choose a small one for that purpose. The next one's obviously going to a frame. Now you can see the hotspot has come back. And then last but not least, here's our end frame that says maintaining life events, and it says you've successfully deleted the life event instance. So in thinking about how this recording took place and what best business practices are, you also have properties for each one of these frames. So if I said, maintaining life events, you've successfully deleted the life event instance, If I said, well, what if there is additional ways to get more information about it? We can always put in a little piece of information here. It says, for additional information, please contact your HR representative. All right. So you can see here, as I'm typing in the properties box, my verbiage is also being relayed over into my little frame. And the last thing that I have to do to make any kind of changes to that is click the Save button. And if I wanted to immediately test it, I can go ahead and close my topic one more time. And this time, we'll do the same thing again. I'll click Try It mode. And again, I'm the developer. I'm coming in here to make a small change. I want to make sure that they have the correct information as necessary. I can go ahead and start my navigation, benefits, manage life event instance menu. Again, here are my explanation frames, so notice no hotspots, no little red rectangles to show. And there were a couple of these, again, talking about the checkboxes. Now this is a frame, which is indicating to you that you need to check in that little area. And then last but not least, hit the delete button, make sure it's been confirmed, and here, as quickly as we were able to type it in through our developer's tool, it's now being displayed to us in a published version. So I'm going to go ahead and hit my Enter key one more time, take us back to the developer. And that's just a little bit about canned content. So they do put the structures in place for you, and then where you need to make changes, you can go ahead and fill in the blanks as necessary. So the tool itself allows you to do a lot more than just have verbiage and hotspots on your frames. You can also use this as a testing tool. You can create instructor manuals based upon just this information that you're seeing on your screen here. They have PowerPoint presentations that are associated with it, system process documents, and job aids. So we'll take a look at a couple of these examples here momentarily. But to jump just a little bit, so we've seen what canned content can do. If I come back and click my library tab, I also created my own, and this is just File New and Folder. That's all the more that it was. I created a little yellow file folder inside of my library that's going to hold any type of custom content that I do. So let's say, for instance, that I wanted to record a business process about how to navigate to the query manager within PeopleSoft, the online application. So first and foremost, I do need to build my little outline structure in here. So I can go ahead and I can click Create New Module, and I'm going to name it. And we'll put in there PeopleSoft Reporting Tools. We are going to leave it in our custom UPK folder as indicated. Yes, we do want it in English. And then your screen resolution, a lot of times clients have company standards that they most definitely want to keep, just due to the fact that maybe their screen size or resolution has to be in a certain setting. So you do have the ability to change that. Just keep in mind that you want to be very consistent across your topics. Otherwise, your end users will sometimes have to scroll from left to right and top to bottom to be able to even see the whole screen. So 1024 by 768 used to be the standard, and it looks like the screen resolution now that they have it set to is 1280 by 768. We're going to leave the default. I'm going to click OK. And what that's going to do is it is going to go ahead and open up my own little module tab now. So just like the eBenefits one was, except for I've created this from scratch. Another way to create a nested object in here, so it looks just like a little purple piece of paper. I'm going to do a right click, and I'm going to go ahead and link a new section to this. And our new section, we're going to call this Query Manager. And then once I get my Query Manager section in here, now I'm going to create my individual topic that says Navigating to the Query Manager. So we're going to link a new topic. Navigation to the Query Manager. All right. Once we get that started, you will notice a little difference here. So my topic no longer has a little lines through it like there's writing on the pieces of paper at this point. So basically my topic's blank, which is to be expected because we just created it. So what we need to do is get our recorder focused on the actual page that we need to use in here. So in order to do that, I can either double click on my topic, which is going to start my screen rolling, and then you're going to see the recorder appear. Now, I don't necessarily want to record our little overview for the day, so I'm going to flip-flop to another screen here. There we go. And I'm going to get logged in first, so I'm not going to record anything just yet. I'm going to sign into my PeopleSoft application. So also this is somewhere else to think about as you're recording your user productivity topics. Do you want to start with the standard way of always logging into the application? Is that just assumed that everybody understands that? So other ways to think about, do I need to record a topic like that of just basic sign-in? And keep in mind, it's not limited to PeopleSoft. So how do I get access to PeopleSoft? So there might be a whole other business process out there that begins prior to even signing into the application itself, just depending upon how your organization is set up. So now that I have my PeopleSoft application up, I'm going to click one time on my recorder, and then I need to get my print screen working in order to make sure that I start my recording. So I'm going to go ahead and get my recorder going. So notice it disappears, and you may or may not have heard that, and I'll show you that in just a moment because I'll be quiet here in just a second. When I'm ready, I turned on automatic recording. So when I navigate, such as roll my mouse ball, left click, right click, whatever it is that's going to take place on the screen other than me just kind of patrolling around here, it is going to take a screen capture. So for those of you who are control freaks, you will soon learn not to like this particular mode. So you do have two options in here. Again, I'm using automatic record, so it's just going to grab everything. If you like to control what screenshots you're looking at and click and record as you go, you would turn that to a manual setting. And that's just in the options of the UPK tool, so that's an easy one. So in order to get to the query manager, this is our topic. I'm going to click main menu. If you heard that camera click, that was the recorder taking a screenshot. I'm going to bring my mouse down to reporting tools. I'm going to go over to query, and then I'm going to go to query manager. And in just a moment, that'll go ahead and pop up my screen here and download my query manager. And from here, this can very well end the topic. This is navigating to the query tool itself. The next topics you want to keep in mind, short, quick, easy access. Your end users sometimes don't have a lot of time. So quick, short, and to the point. Get them there, get them to the topic, get them to understand what they need. Maybe you'd create a second topic after this that said, find an existing query. Or maybe we just want to show them, look, when you get to the query manager, click the search button, and that'll take just a moment. Then it should populate there some different queries, and maybe this is just searching for a query in here. So I'm going to stop my recorder right there. And heard that little that's the ending version of my UPK tool. So when it brings me back in, so immediately once I stop my recorder, it takes me right back into the UPK developer tool, and it now has created a start frame, an end frame, which is my last screenshot, and then all of my frames in between here. So because I'm working through a VPN client, sometimes it doesn't always grab the hotspots like you like. So this may be one of those times whenever you need to fill in the verbiage yourself there. So you're going to notice, hey, I don't see where that click the desired object is showing up at. So what I need to do is come down into the properties of my new custom content, and I need to tell it, well, plop in there the text that UPK has automatically assigned to this, and I'm going to change it. So in here, I need to tell it to click the main menu. And now normally, it's going to go ahead and format this stuff for you as far as the field is concerned. And of course, you may have your own set of standards as far as what you're looking at, but notice immediately, click the main menu now displays for me, and all I need to do is go ahead and save. So watch, this little guy here has a clean white sheet of paper with a little yellow bubble for my topic, and once I save, now it's going to go ahead and populate that with a little line, so now it's actually a real topic that we have in here. Same thing, if I close this, and I come back to my topic, now I can actually go through this in try it mode as a testing process to make sure, did it really accomplish the goal that I set out to? So my goal was navigating to the query manager. So I'm going to click the little green arrow to fire off my try it mode. And once I go ahead and do that, it's going to go through its little publish process so that only I can see the little item here. We'll maximize that. So navigation to the query manager. So I'm going to click the start button, click on main menu. There was our custom information we placed in the bubble. Again, we did not get a chance to change this, but it's going down the right path. It's capturing the correct screenshots that we need. And of course we can see here, there's a couple little bubbles. There's some cleanup that we need to do with that. And press left Windows, not exactly sure what that little guy was. Oh, yes, it was me clicking the search button in here. I may have clicked one more spot. And then I clicked the print screen button in order to stop my recording, and then it says navigation to the query manager. So here's the end frame. This is where you may want to put something, best business practice. Let your end users know you have actually finished the recording, so you've successfully finished navigating to the query manager. We'll hit the enter button. So normally when you have the user productivity kit running on a similar type of an environment rather than having to VPN into it, the context recognition, much like you saw here in this maintaining life events, where it literally picks up, begin by navigating to the manage life event instance page, so it says click the benefits menu. Normally the context sensitive editor will pick up the actual menu structure. So the reason why I had to do the custom typing in there was due to the fact of how I'm connecting into my environment itself for PeopleSoft. So not something that typically happens out there. So you just need to make sure that our context editor is picking those up properly. So that's a little bit about custom content. So I'm going to close down the item that I just created out here. I'm going to come back to that delivered content because there's just a couple more things that I'd like to show to you. So we talked about what the user productivity kit is. It gives you the ability to go ahead and record your documentation or be able to train someone, be able to test someone or allow them to go through a testing process. Many of my clients have used the user productivity kit from start to finish for their implementation. So they used it as a training tool prior to their users and project team members ever even getting access to their very first database of PeopleSoft. They then have further used it to, as they were making customizations throughout their implementation, to record those business processes as necessary. So I added a custom field. We added some additional pages. We changed the menu structures around. We want the users to literally see what they're going to be logging into. And you're able to do that with the user productivity kit. And then last but not least, when you're getting ready for go live, you have all of that great documentation. It's now all stored in the user productivity kit. And now is when you have the opportunity to publish it how you want your end users to see it. So I'm going to click this little drop down arrow up here at the very top. And the very first one here is the system process document. So these two, job aid and system process document, are extremely similar. The one main difference between the two is that a system process document has nice little pretty screenshots, so if somebody does need the visual as far as navigation is concerned, you have that option. And you also have the option to say, hey, you know what, these people are we're going through an upgrade, they don't need the screenshots, they just need the directions. Tell them how to get from point A to point B. So I'm going to show you a system process document first, and that'll take just a moment. I also have my system set up so that this will go directly to a Microsoft Word document. So when this is done completing here, it should pop that little document up for us very quickly. And again, I chose this one because it was rather short. You saw there were only about 7 or 8 frames associated with it. So here's our Word document. Gives you the nice branding. And again, this is the pre-canned content that came directly from Oracle. So it takes all of the information that's in those little yellow bubbles as well and prints this out for you in the system process document. So it tells you what the concept is, and then it tells you the procedure. So here's our very first screenshot, and it tells you click the benefits menu, manage life instance menu, and goes through the few frames in here and explanation about manage life event instance, the filters, the active and inactive checkboxes we saw. Shows you another screenshot in here about selecting the adoption event, clicking the delete button, and last but not least, confirming the delete, and then the end of the procedure. So that all in all took 4 pages for a system process document. So again, this comes down to a decision of the organization. Do you want this to be available somewhere on training documentation somewhere? It's extremely helpful if folks have a hard time navigating without seeing some screenshots. Everybody learns differently. Or do you just say, you know what, the job aid is good enough. Everybody knows this product. It's just there's a few differences that we've now interacted with or inserted into our business process at this point. So I'll show you what a job aid looks like. As I said before, the only difference is no screenshots in this one. These are just quick and dirty directions as far as how to get from the main menu all the way into the task that you're trying to complete in here. So maintaining live events, no concept, just right to the documentation. And notice this one's 1 page. So we went from 4 pages to 1 page by simply eliminating screenshots. Along those lines as well, so this is a job aid. I'll do a couple more for you in here. Let's do presentation. So this is done through PowerPoint. And you probably saw as I was going through this little menu here, that I'll open in just a moment. Here's all of your maintaining life events. So again, you're not getting the actual concept information that it printed out with the system process doc. So it does give you something slightly different, but it does give you one PowerPoint for each one of your steps that it would take for you to complete the life event. And then of course your end procedure. I'll close that. I'll also show you a training guide. So very quickly, something very nice with this, it does format it just like a regular training guide. So it has table of contents. It has the ability to provide a glossary as well. So if you have certain keywords that are proprietary or specific to your organization, it will also allow you to insert those into a glossary at the end of your training manual as well. So this is what it looks like, the creation date of the training manual and the naming convention. Here's your table of contents, and then it formats everything for you. Gives you a bit more of the documentation. So this was something that's slated to go into your training manuals as opposed to what you get with a system process document versus a job aid versus a presentation, which was through the PowerPoint. So it's going to give you a lot more information in here for training, of course. So if you have to have training that's provided individually or with an instructor-led training or even virtual training for that matter, the training guide and the benefits that it gives to you, again, are very beneficial in here. So, and they're very nicely formatted. I'm going to close the training manual. And the last thing that I'm going to show you in here is a test document. So this is now taking you all the way from initial implementation of PeopleSoft to, hey, we're getting ready. We want to go live in 6 months from now, 4 months from now, 3 months from now, whatever it may happen to be. And we need people to start doing some testing on some various processes. So some end users need to come in. We want them to sit down and we want them to go through these testing documents and basically see, you know, is the navigation easy enough for them to be able to handle and understand the daily tasks that they need to create. So here's the test history. It gives you a little bit about the purpose of the test. And if you wanted to time it, you can. Estimated time, actual time. As you know, this was a very short one, so it has them showing the initial start screen. It says begin by navigating to the Manage Life Event instance page. You can also find Helping People books, which is something I had typed in previously as well, so it's another customization of mine, so we'd eliminate that. Click the benefits menu, and when they click the benefits menu, what are the expected results? Was it to get another menu? Was it to go directly to the page? So as you're having folks go through these testing scripts as well, a little more explanation is definitely warranted in here. So you don't want folks just kind of sitting down and saying, okay, what was really supposed to happen? So sometimes I've had to adjust the testing scripts for various clients, and again, it just depends upon what the purpose of the test actually is. Is it a blind test just for ease of use, or is it someone that says, yeah, we have made several customizations in here and we are expecting certain results to take place throughout? So in that case, maybe we want to print these test scripts and add in our own expected results, and then did they actually get or achieve those results in here? So that's a little bit about a testing document. And then last but not least, one of the best things in here, one of the best training tools themselves, is actually the player. So I'm going to go ahead and do publish. And this time I'm going to drop it into a folder called MJK1 just on my desktop very quickly. I am only going to publish one section, and that happens to be the managing life events. So let me highlight that first and then publish. Next, I am publishing just the section, and I only want to publish the player tool itself. So here's where all of those properties come in. So it asks you, when I publish, what do you want me to do with the publish process? So this little skin here, you're going to see that this is going to be a generic player, so it's going to have the Oracle logo, the blue gradient going across the top, and all the standard push buttons that are delivered with the player today. However, with 12.1, rather than having to code a bunch of HTML like you had to before, you can actually create your own skin, which is kind of like a style sheet that goes over top of your player. So you want it to have an orange heading with your logo, different buttons for see it, do it, try it, know it, various things like that. You can create your own skin in order to do so. I do not have one of those set up, so we're going to remain with the default. And I'm going to go ahead and click publish. Again, this should be a pretty short publish. We have one module, one section that we've selected for the Managing Life events, and then inside of the Managing Life events, we do have 3 topics, which are approving life event documents, cloning a life event, and then maintaining life events. And normally I will tell you that when you go through your initial publish process, it does take a very long time the very first time through. Incrementally after that, you want to be doing it on a very consistent basis. So I always tell new clients, it's actually a very good thing to set up a publishing schedule. So if you said, hey, we want to push new content out to our end users first thing every Monday morning, then, the cutoff time for all customizations and people submitting UPK processes that need to be approved into the system should be maybe Thursday at noon. So that way folks have time to review them either Thursday afternoon or Friday morning and then kick off that publish process. So I'm going to go ahead. And it says your local player can be viewed using this little link. So it actually created that for me. So I'm going to click that. I am going to use the system default one more time. And we're going to maximize that. And this is my player. So here's what I was telling you about the skin. It has the light blue. There's little arrows associated with it. My managing life events that I see in here. And then here are my 3 topics that it's going to go ahead and publish for me. So we'll stick with the original topic that we started with. And when I click one time on that topic, I then can see my little buttons. Now the one that you're going to be familiar with is Try It, because of the fact that that was the one I had used because I have the control to hit the enter key and go as fast as I want through those frames. See It is like sitting back and watching a DVD. So I know you have the ability to fast forward through it, but with See It in the User Productivity Kit, you just have to wait for those screenshots to go by. and most of the screenshots are defaulted to about 5 seconds. When you have as little content on the screen as what each one of these frames did, 5 seconds is an eternity. Know It allows you to provide a type of testing. So Know It means that the end user doesn't get any helpful hints. For the most part, they must navigate on their own. And then the Do It, which I do not have set up because this was published as a standalone player. The Do It itself is an interactive tool which gives you a little GPS system that pops up in the lower right-hand corner initially of your screen, and it kind of gives you a guidance system that says click here, click here, click here, push your selection. So it's giving you a little monitor to follow along with, but this is in your production system. So once you click the save button through the Do It mode, you are literally doing a commit of some sort to your system. So Do It is normally associated with your production system. And then Print It. This would allow me to have either my job aid, which you can see here associated with that, or some people choose to use the system process document, but this is as quick and easy as it gets. I'm going to close that. So in here, again, if I click Try It, and allow my pop-ups, try that one more time. There we go. Maintaining life events. And as you can see, we have to go through. I'm hitting the Enter key at my own speed. And since this is about the third or fourth time that you've now seen that, here's my ending screen with my customization. And it returns me right back to the player. So this little player itself, as you heard me say before, the player is a standalone executable, which is what I'm showing you currently. However, you can also associate this with the help link. So my help link in my PeopleSoft application literally goes to my PeopleBooks. However, you can choose to change that help link to go directly to your user productivity kit. And it is context sensitive. So as I would click help here, if I would have published this to my help link rather than just publishing it to an executable file, when I click the help link, my UPK tool would fire off exactly as what you see here, and it would have brought up, well, my query tool should have been connected to it at that point. So that is just one more way in which you can deploy the UPK tool. So with that, I'm going to come back and click Finish. It did, in fact, go to the desktop area that I selected it to go to, and that will bring our webinar to an end. So we got to go through an overview of the User Productivity Kit for version 12.1, also known as UPK. We talked and added in some best business practices as we went along the way. We talked about and played with some of the delivered or purchased content, I should say, from Oracle. We did create a little bit of custom content, and last but not least, we were able to see a portion of the publishing process. For more additional information, you can go ahead and feel free to contact us at our TeachMe2Day website, and that's TeachMe2Day.com. My name is Michael Lynn Koziel, and you can also contact me by sending me an email at mk, that's Michael Lynn Koziel, mk, at TeachMe2Day.com. So same domain as well, TeachMe2Day.com. And this concludes our webinar. So thank you so much. Any questions or comments, please feel free to contact us.